Welcome to Wish I Wrote It. You guys know that the reason why I started this broadcast was, at first to get through COVID, which we're not through yet, in my opinion. So that's my opinion. But also because I needed personal inspiration, and it turned out that we all need inspiration. So Wish I Wrote It. I've had the pleasure of interviewing people who inspire others. Tonight is no different. I have my new friend and soul brother, Dan Navarro, tonight, and I'm going to quote him because this blows my mind. Dan Navarro's music probes life at its most resonant. In his rich baritone, he sings songs of heart and insight, steeped in experience, soulful tales about a long road well traveled. He is the proud father of a 25-year-old filmmaker's son, thinks music is food, art is love, and sleep is for babies. I don't know if it can be stated better than that, but I'll let Dan explain all that himself. Without further ado, I want to welcome my friend, Dan Navarro. Come on in, Dan. How are you? And welcome.
I am so happy to be here. We met in one of those click moments where it's like, where has this sister been my whole life? We seem to speak the same language, and it was in in the hallways, the crowded hallways of Folk Alliance, right outside the Cantina Navarro showcase room, and which is the never-ending show that never ends. Let's just keep this all going. So it's a joy to be here with you.
Well, thank you for being here. And literally, and it was really in the hallway, everybody. And I was standing there. I met you. You were talking to a bunch of other people, and I just watched people kind of like just hover about you like a moth to flame. I was like, what is going on? This is one of the most embracing, sweethearted, like apparently, transparently sweet people I've ever met. And my phone's ringing, of course, right now, but we'll turn it off. But anyways,
we never complain about the phone ringing.
It could be something good, right?
If you complain, it stops ringing.
Well, I'll put it on pause. So, but I got to witness it. I got to witness something very special, which is how you make room for everybody else. As you make beautiful art, you also make room for other people, which is rare. And you do it in a big way, which is even more rare. So thank you for being here to share your music and your heart.
You're welcome. It's great to be here.
So
Dan,
we get
to do these things that we love. If we're lucky, we get to do these things that we love.
Yeah. We get to do it, it's amazing. So do we get to hear some music from you? Because I'd love to kick the show off with one of your songs.
We do. And actually, I'm going to pull up one of the more recent ones. That little hissy hiss is the guitar mics. I've got a brand new record coming out in August. August 19th is the release date of my third solo album, and 18th album overall, probably my 10th album of original material. And I've been solo for a while because my partner in Lowen Navarro, who I made records with from 1990 to 2008, he got sick in 2004. We made a couple more records, 3 more, and then he passed away in 2012. But I had some stuff that I wanted to say, some stories I wanted to tell, and this is one of them about how we spend our time in life, which, hey, we all know the final outcome of life, but still worth it. Every minute around the world, 250 babies born, some with a silver spoon, some with a belly full of dreams. What ties them all together, the desire to uncover what life means. You can swim against the tide, you can stand in a hurricane, try and scale the mountainside, knowing it could be all in vain. We're circled in the drain. lock in place. You're on a gambler's roll. You got the golden touch, all right. But just as quick, the magic's gone, slipped right through your fingers overnight. You can swim against the tide. You can stand in a hurricane. Try and scale the mountainside, knowing it could be all in vain. We're circling the drain. Well, you can try so hard, you're spinning. We've got this time on earth. Why not live it for all it's worth? And be a little more forgiving. You can fill your cup with sun. Drink up every last drop until it's done.
Gorgeous song. Circling the Drain. So Dan Navarro, you have a new record coming out. I'm so excited. And that is a very wise and beautiful song.
You know, it was, I co-wrote it with a friend of mine named Deborah Holland, who heard me doing just noodling around on something on one of my streams. She asked, is that a song? And I said, no, not yet. I mean, I'm just kind of making stuff up. She goes, can I run with that? And I went, sure. And she goes, I want to call it Circling the Drain. And I said, that's the worst title I've ever heard. I mean, it's like, wow, why don't you just name your song We're All Gonna Die? And she goes, no. And she kind of sent me what she meant and totally blew me away. I mean, basically, you know, our course is finite, but it's still worth it. Yeah,
it really is. And like you said earlier, we get to do this, especially for artists, we get to do this. We get to, interpret life through the kaleidoscope of music and theater and film and all kinds of other mediums. So it really is a blessing.
Well, it's true, but because we also can do it for a living, we find ourselves getting caught up in the trappings of economics and success and fame and acceptance and why is this so hard and nobody cares and it's an uphill battle. But I also start thinking about anything that's really worth doing, especially artistically, is hard. Michelangelo carving a statue out of a chunk of marble and making it not just, so beautiful and so graceful and all of that, that's hard work. So we get to do this. And if we get to do this, then we have the opportunity to tell some stories and move some hearts and maybe move some mountains,
Absolutely. So Dan, you shared with me that you've been making music and moving these mountains for quite some time. Did you ever do anything other than music? And I'm glad
a lot of things actually. I was, I didn't start making a living as a musician until I was 32. So until then, I was doing different stuff. I went to work for a small film company as a sound guy. I went to work for Tower Records for 3 years, one in Westwood Village near UCLA. I was the classical and country buyer, and so it was kind of this weird mixed bag, but I learned a ton. I went from there to working as a singing waiter because I had friends who worked in the restaurant, and I figured I could work one fewer day a week, make the same money, hang out with my friends, make some music, and drive half the distance. But if you think about it, if you're a singing waiter, it's not a music job, it's a waiting job. You're waiting tables. And so it's a dead-end job. Except I met a guy there who also worked there, who became my lifelong music partner. We had Lowen from Lowen Navarro, and we made records, and we wrote songs, and we had hits. So I met my future lifelong music partner, art partner, at this dead-end job. Yeah. And it kind of changes your perspective. It's how you deal with your situation that will dictate whether it's of value or not. Yeah. I went to go to work for a music manager as an assistant for a while, a couple of years. And he got a job in London working with the Moody Blues. So I went as his assistant and dropped into the middle of London at 27 years old, kind of going, wow, look at what's going on here. This was 1980. It was the Pretenders and Elvis Costello and Joe Jackson and Kate Bush and Peter Gabriel, and it was post-punk and magnificent. And I learned a ton. Then I came back to America and determined to get out of the business side of things and to have a day job. I worked in advertising for my uncle, for his agency, and it was becoming a career. I was good at it. I didn't really love it. And I'd reached the end of my rope with music. I was done. I was over 30. The bands that I was in were not doing well. We weren't getting signed up. We were having fewer and fewer shows. It was dying on the vine. And so I was forced, by the circumstances of my job, of a very tragic family situation, and the band wanting more of a commitment, I was forced to quit. So I quit music at 31 years old. And Eric Lowen, who remained in the band, called me up one day and said, hey man, it's a drag that you're not in the band, but how would you like to write a song just for the hell of it? I went, well, I didn't want to. I was mad at him. I was, what's the point? I was cynical. I was angry. I was hurt. But I realized I also wasn't doing this thing I enjoyed doing, so I decided to suck it up and do it anyway, for no reason, for no path to success. And that was We Belong, that we wrote that night in an hour and a half. And due to some good fortune and some, meetings we took it around, and everybody rejected it until somebody accepted it. And a year after we wrote it, it was top 5 all over the world. And all of a sudden at 32, I'm a hit songwriter after being a music failure at 31. So I did all these other things, and it taught me some music business. It taught me that music is a business, and you've got to give a music business person a reason economically to work with you. It's not just about art. Your creation can be about art, but the job is about the job. And I learned a ton from all the other things that I did, especially catalog working in the record store and entertaining an audience that doesn't care at the Singing Waiter restaurant. Every course I took led to me understanding something about the overall task, which is to stay above water, stay vertical, stay active, express some things, make friends, help others, and tell stories.
And you do all that and more. I would love to hear you perform We Belong if you'd like to. Everyone, that song, Pat Benatar, Ring a Bell, And so it was huge. And like I said earlier, I can still see the video in my mind as soon as you say that. I was fanatically Pat Benatar, still am. So if you'd love to share that,
I would love to. I've talked to friends who kind of go, don't you hate singing that song? And to have the great good fortune to have a song that someone asks you to play every single night of your professional life, if you hate it, there's something wrong with you. Yeah, it's easy to get bored by the repetition, but that's I still love the song. I'm still grateful that it happened. I still relate to what I felt when I wrote it, when I co-wrote it with Eric. I still marvel that it happened, and I can't even fathom how it now belongs to everybody. Yeah. But because I'm still, remembering what we did and what I was feeling and all of that. But, to have it at all is nothing but great good fortune, and it's turned into one of those. It's, I'm fortunate that everybody knows it. 20 times I tried to tell you, 20 times I cried alone. Always I'm surprised how well you cut my feelings to the bone. Don't wanna leave you really, just wanna break the ice. Do I look silly to you when I yield to your advice? When you say we belong to the light, we belong to the thunder, we belong to the sound of the words we're both falling under. Whatever we deny or embrace, for worse or for better, we belong, we belong, we belong together. Si acaso no lo sabes, te aseguro que es verdad. El cariño que es sincero no se apaga con crueldad. Olvidas lo que fuimos y desprecias lo más fiel. Juntitos pretendimos que la luna era de miel. Junto a ti solo es mi anhelo. Junto a ti como el rayo de luz que ha brotado el cielo. No importa el porvenir si sufrir es mi triste destino. Junto a ti hasta el fin del camino. The Spanish words mean there's no love that is greater than that between a true-hearted gentleman and his chosen one in the back of an El Camino. You believe that? 32 years I've been telling that silly joke. Close your eyes and try to sleep now. Close your eyes and try to dream. Clear your mind and do your best to try and wash the palate clean. We can't begin to know it, how much we really care. But I hear your voice inside me, and I see your face everywhere. Now I say, we belong to the light, we belong to the thunder, we belong to the sound of the words we both fallen under. Whatever we deny or embrace, or worse or for better, we belong, we belong, we belong together. We belong, we belong. Whatever we deny or embrace, we belong. We belong. We belong.
Wow, epic, epic, epic song. That's like rock and roll history right there.
It's
in the
pretty
book.
weird.
It's really
It's
weird.
pretty weird. It's, again, I remember every minute of what led up to it, what I walked in thinking, why I contributed what I contributed, what Eric was doing when I got there and he already had the song started. Every second of it. And then all of a sudden it's like this thing. And you don't sit there I didn't sit there and go, well, of course it's this thing because it's, we had no idea what we did. We just were trying we were trying to rebuild our friendship and get a song finished. That was it.
Yeah.
And that it turned into the thing was beautiful and is great. Wasn't expected. But we fully expected it to be a hit song that was, when it became a hit, okay, great, it's a hit. It'll be around for a couple of years and then it'll be forgotten. Like a lot of hits are. It'll go away. And that hasn't happened. It now gets played all the time everywhere. And it's played on the radio more than ever. I mean, literally more than ever. It picks up about 300,000 radio plays a year. Racks up 1 million every 3 years. We're at 6 million now.
Well, it has so many other connotations to it too. Like it has this romance to it, but it also has a bigger thing about community, which makes sense. Right. Just getting to know you, and like I think that might be your middle name, community, or something like that, or generosity. Like that is such your vibe, and it's so authentic in you that it really is something special and rare. And so I'd love to just when you're thinking about how this song and other songs of your work manifest in your life, when you play so much forward, what else are you up to that you really are a person, an artist who plays it all forward? So I'd love to hear more about what you're up to in those areas.
Well, I do a lot of different things. I've been fortunate to have opportunities to do things, and I know is not a big part of my vocabulary. Right before we came on the air, I was talking to a casting director who wanted some information on union contracts, and I've been a union volunteer at SAG-AFTRA since before the merger, when it was AFTRA and SAG separately. Wow. I've been doing that kind of work for 23 years. Really, now that I think about it, my first negotiation was in 97. So it's 25 years now I've been contributing time and energy toward the contracts that wind up putting money into performers' pockets.
Yes.
But she also cast me 23 years ago to do noise voices on a little animated series. And she goes, look, it doesn't pay very well. It's kind of irreverent. It's a union pay, but it's a particular part of the contract that's very low pay. It's $100 a show, no residuals. And I went, I don't care, I'll do it. And it ran for 2 years and then went away. And I figured, okay, fine. But I was doing other things and singing in commercials and occasionally singing in movies. And then they decided to bring the series back because they put DVDs on the market and they sold 4 million DVDs.
Oh my
and the
word.
network went, well, there must be something here. So they brought the series back. It's called Family Guy.
Oh my
I've been doing sound noise voices on Family Guy since 2001. That's 22 years now.
Oh my goodness.
When American Dad came along, it was natural that I get the call to do that. So I've done about 230 episodes of Family Guy and about 190 of American Dad. And it still pays badly. All because I said yes and figured I'll do this. I'll show up, do my best. Could I have predicted that it would get canceled and rehired? No. But if you say no, it's not worth it. It's only $100. I mean, you know what, man? I'm not getting out of my house for less, for $100.
Yeah.
Well, then the 290 episodes never would have happened.
Yeah.
And someone else will get that opportunity. And I had a union friend of mine who does a lot of animation work going, why do you take that shitty job? And it's because it's either that or sit around. It's helped me qualify for my insurance certain years. I am 290 episodes into a legendary hit series.
Yes.
And the only thing that I didn't go to the Get on a Hit Series school. It's just, here's an opportunity. Is it worth it or not? And my attitude is it busy? Is it connected? Could it be fun? Is it different? Then the answer is yes. And so that's led to things I never could have expected. I sang backups on We Don't Talk About Bruno. I sang in Coco and Happy Feet. And I've been on 3 Oscar-winning Best Animated Features.
Wow.
I've been on 2 Oscar-nominated songs, best songs. I've been on Grammy winners. Never won a Grammy myself, but it's all fine. I mean, my whole thing is, I haven't been on, but here's the thing. I have had a blast. Have done some of the most remarkably unusual things, and the stories that you can tell about what happened here or what happened there when I'm, you know, Mark Mothersbaugh from Devo called me up. Hey, you got recommended to me. You want to sing on a song? It's called Envy. And, well, what is the deal? Well, we don't really know what we want. So I went in and I did a demo, and I did one on a voice down here, and it sounded a little like Eddie Vedder going, you know, the turkey's got his gobbler envy. And I sang another one really high like Neil Young, and then I did another one really envy like Johnny Cash. They kind of called me up and said, Johnny Cash is winning right now. Then they scrapped all of it, called me 3 months later. We're starting from scratch. You want to come in and help us work out the vibe? And I mean, that was like, the turkey's got his gobbler, the lion's got his pride. The grass is always tastier on the other side. And I did the whole thing a little bit like Leon Redbone might. And I'm just sitting here making up sounds and just doing whatever I do. Because I can think it, I can hear it, I can make this little contraption get close. And that's half the fun. Can you do something? I don't know. Let's find out. And that's the part that's fun for me, is diving into the unknown and seeing what happens.
Did you always have this sense of adventure, like just in general? It seems like it's a, you know, like you seem like it's like a sense, this je ne sais quoi, like this, what do they say? Call it like this love of life, this thing that you enjoy the experience of things. Did you always?
I like well, I grew up in a very small town on the Mexican border. Never went anywhere, never experienced anything. So I grew up with a sense of wanderlust. I would watch TV and go, I want to go there. I want to do that. You know, I'm a little bit too big of a chicken to climb mountains, but I'll go places I've never been before. I'll try things I've never tried.
Good.
Someone will say, well, you want to do this thing? There's no time to rehearse it. Yeah, I'll do that. How bad can it be? And you live by your wits. I have a saying, nothing worth a dang ever came from a comfort zone. That if you live in your comfort zone all the time, you are not going to push the limits. You are not going to grow. You'll be fine. You'll be content. I don't want to be content. I want to be happy, and I want to be busy, and I want to be excited, and I feel like the Sally Field character in Smokey and the Bandit when they're running from the cops and they jump. We just jumped a car. I want to jump another car. And I sit there and I'll go, I just did that thing. Man, what the heck? Let's go do that. Let's go do something else. And it doesn't happen easily. I mean, I sang in 2 sessions, 6 songs for Encanto, the film. One of them was on the day I was supposed to pack up my van to go on the road, so I waited a day. The other one happened on an off day when I was on the road. I went, all right, I got a show last night. I'd have to leave Chicago at 6 a.m. to get to the session on time. I got back to where I was staying at 1, so I caught 2 hours of sleep, got up, drove to Midway Airport, parked, flew home, landed at 9, in the studio at noon, out of the studio at 6, went home, caught some sleep, left the next morning to go back on the road, pick up the van, and rejoin the tour.
Holy crap.
And, it's too hard. Well, it was great because I knew that it would mean a certain amount of money. Residuals coming later. The Disney movies tend to make good residuals. I knew that it would go on my IMDb credits. I knew that I knew the composer, and I'd worked with her before. There was no way I wanted to miss that session and miss that opportunity. Well, I never expected a number 1 record out of it.
Wow.
And so it's you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So you just got to try and keep doing and keep swinging away and keep going. And you're going to fail sometimes. Big deal. You're going to succeed sometimes, especially if you get to the point where you're comfortable with trying brand new stuff. And I am. So I just keep saying yes, and the phone keeps ringing. I'm very, very lucky. I don't hustle it. I don't put out ads. I don't send out tapes. I don't call producers. Hey, just want to let you know I'm around. It's a little bit like, calling somebody, calling a prospective date on a Saturday. Hey, just want to let you know I'm home. I'm not doing anything. Yeah, well, maybe I'll call you next month. That's not going to work.
No, it doesn't work.
You don't work by saying, yeah, I'm sitting around and nobody's asking me out. You just, and actually you probably get better. No, Saturday I'm kind of busy, but no, I'll tell you what, I'll blow it off. Let's go out. And that's when the good stuff happens.
Or maybe just go dancing anyways. If you want to go dancing and no one calls you, just go dancing anyways.
Just go dancing. And you might meet somebody, or you might just simply have a great time, whether you meet somebody or not.
Exactly.
So this always, and there were lessons in my life. I mean, I used to get really scared and really nervous, but I would front it off going, okay, well, you're just going to have to figure this out, because if you let the fear win, you're dead. God love my late mom. I was 14 years old, and I was walking around the house going, hey, and she finally said, gosh, Danny, you're never going to be grown up if you don't quit making stupid noises with your mouth.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. Key to staying young.
Did mom? What'd she say about did your mom get to ever see any of the manifestation of?
She passed away in 94. I had been working for since 88, so 6 years she saw me do this kind of work, and she would just go, I can't believe they pay you to be a dodo head. And I went, yeah, lucky me. One of my most memorable though is I started out singing Spanish jingles, and I would move from Spanish into movies in Spanish, movies in English, voiceovers in Spanish, voiceovers in English, and it mutated slowly from that. But I get called by a guy I'd worked with on a couple of records, a wonderful engineer named Humberto Gatica, who had engineered Michael Jackson, and he goes, I've got a session coming, put a group together. Oh, so who's it for? Julio Iglesias. My mom would die. So I did the session. We sang Vámonos Guajira and Oye Como Va. I hired my Spanish singer friends, but I got the Anglo Eric Lowen, my partner, in on that going, dude, this is Julio Iglesias. I'm putting you on the session. Just fake it. You'll be great. I taught him some accent. Julio's meeting, hola, ¿cómo estás? Chévere, chévere. Hola, ¿cómo está mi querida? Eso, ¿habla español? Oh, does he speak Spanish? No. Hello, I'm Julio. And meets Eric, who was like 6'2", blonde, Swedish-looking guy. But we did the session. We went to a restaurant after that, and I called home. Hey, Mom, guess what I just did? And that really was kind of where I came from, is guess what I just did? Oh, Danny, you amaze me, the things you get to do. There's always something new. There's always something different. I got a call 3 days ago to submit an on-camera audition for a song in Spanish. I put on a Western shirt and set up the camera and did it. And they said, no, well, they're going to use a different actor. But you got the pre-record, so you're going to sing it. Well, now I'm going to sing it from right here when we're done for a TV series for ABC. And it's not like, how do people get these gigs? I don't know. They put themselves out there, and when someone says yes, or, that all started with an old college buddy calling me up one day in 1988. Hey, what are you doing right now? I'm sitting around. I just had a couple of beers. I'm going to watch football. Hey, you want to come over and sing on a jingle in my garage for $100? Well, let me think this through. I had 2 beers. It's 30 miles away. I was just going to, hell yes, I want to do that for $100. And we sang the jingle. And there was a woman on the session who, it turned out, contracted Spanish vocals for, she would hire singers, and she was a singer herself. Do you sing in Spanish? I do. Do you have a demo? Just happen to have it. It was my only copy. I gave it to her.
Oh my goodness.
She goes, I think I might like to get you in on some things. Then I didn't hear from her for 4 weeks. Oh, well. About 2 weeks in, I guess that's that. And she calls up one day and says, hey, I think I'd like you for a Miller Beer commercial. You got to get square with AFTRA, the radio union. Okay. Yeah. And that costs $600. How much am I going to make on this session? $200. So let me see this. I'm going to start out $400 in the hole. Hell yes, I'm going to go join the union. So I joined the union. I went and did the session, and I start kind of freaking out. It's in Spanish. Yes, I could fumble through Spanish, but maybe it's going to be too hard. Maybe they're going to be dealing with technical recording terms in Spanish in the studio that I'm not going to understand. Maybe I'm going to embarrass myself. Maybe I'm going to fall on my face. I'm a loser. Nothing good ever happens to me. It's not going to be easy like La Bamba. It's going to be hard.
Oh.
And I walked into the studio. Okay, so you are all at a football game and you are all singing La Bamba. Okay. Nailed it. Then the guy says, you know, Isela was telling me about you. I'm going to keep hiring you because we don't have any baritones. All the Spanish singers are all tenors.
Tenors, yeah.
Well, who knew? Now, I could have, it's too far. I've had 2 beers. It's only $100. No. If I had,
it might be too hard, all these things, yeah.
But so what? And it's, and the La Bamba thing I tell because I really said it's not going to be La Bamba, and it was La Bamba. Well, how could be goodness. Easier? But the other lesson was that you don't know what's on the other side of that door. And I find out that there's a hole in the community that I didn't know existed. I wouldn't have been there to fill the hole if I had said it's too hard, or if I said I'm too busy, it's too far, I've had 2 beers. You just do it. And that's literally, I went from never working to working all the time, enough to make my insurance levels in the very first year. I went from never working to being a first call Spanish language singer.
Wow.
At 36 years old.
Wow.
I wasn't 20. I'm at an age where, hey, I'm 35. I want to break into session singing. Yeah, good luck, dude. That doesn't happen. Yeah. Well, guess what? So the notion of work, focus, application, persistence, faith, skill, but you can work the skill. You can gain the skill. It's the mindset of, nah, it's not really going to work out. Oh, why should I take a tape to that mixer? Nothing's going to happen. Well, guess what? Yeah. You just guaranteed that nothing's going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I love every single thing you've just said is so affirming, because early on, even before COVID, I made this agreement with myself to say yes to things. And then when it happened, and it's still happening, as we know, I said to myself, you know, what do I need to get through all this? And it was inspiration. And it's blessed to be a blessing. That's my mentality about things. And then this idea of like grace, you know, and faith. And the best way to demonstrate that is to love people in action. And the one action I am good at is I love to talk to people. I love to cook. Well, there's 3. I love to talk to people. I love to cook, and I love to make music. So I said, well, let's put them all together and see what happens. If we were together, I'd be feeding you right now something.
Well,
but maybe
I can't wait till we're in the same place. I get to meet your family. I get to hang out. We get to make some music and eat.
Yeah.
But that is really one of the keys, is that willingness to go for it, that ability to see there's an opportunity here. And yeah, it might turn into nothing. But if you don't do it, you're guaranteeing that it turns into nothing. But if you take the shot, 1 out of 100, you still took the shot. Yeah. And you never know. As it turned out, the other 2 singers on that first session was a guy named Michael Cruz, rest his soul, who it turned out was a producer of jingles. And from that day on, I worked with Michael, for Michael, on dozens of jingles for the next 10 years. Real, actually, 6 years, because he passed away in 94. What I also didn't know, again, this is what you don't know. I walk in, well, hello, Mr. Dan Navarro, who are we? And I'm going, hi. He goes, I know who you are. What do you mean you know who I am? Well, my first job, my first arranging job as a professional, was arranging your song, We Belong, for Kids Incorporated.
Oh, my goodness.
He knew exactly who I was. I didn't know who he was, but there was a connection. The other guy was an Anglo guy named Casey Porter, who was raised in Guatemala, spoke fluent Spanish, became a Grammy-winning producer of people like Ricky Martin and Carlos Santana.
Wow.
And these were my co-singers. Yeah. So did I hit the dinger? Yeah. Did I make the dinger get hit? No.
Yeah.
I showed up.
I
showed up. I was prepared. And the rest of it just happened. Now, I'll take a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of credit for being aware of that. You know, I had heard about the Kids Incorporated arrangement, and so Michael and I bonded. You know, Casey and I clicked, and he goes, yeah, doing a little bit of production. I'm working with this Puerto Rican artist nobody's heard of named Ricky Martin. He did all Ricky's Spanish records before he broke big. Well, again, he's making Spanish records for hundreds of dollars, small thousands. So he was around when Ricky broke big in the Anglo market, and it was, many, many thousands of dollars. Casey's won several Grammys with Carlos Santana and Ricky, and lots of production, and he's one of the busiest producers in Spanish language music.
Wow.
So you never know what a situation holds. All you have control of is, will I show up prepared, upbeat, ready to work, ready to have a good time? Don't be too forthcoming. What I mean is, don't tell dirty jokes at the session. Be very pro. Be very on it. Read the room. Sense your surroundings.
Yeah.
And, it worked out really well. I made mistakes. That same producer called me once for a Sears commercial. His name was Jorge Calandelli. He ended up Oscar nominated for a song. He co-wrote the love theme to Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon and got nominated for an Oscar. Became a big Grammy-winning arranger. But this was a period when he was doing jingles. Yeah. And he called me for once, and I did a jingle. And at the end of the session, he goes to the people, he goes, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. Looks at me and goes, I'll see you later. I went, oh, see you later. I'm not hired. No problem. And I went home. And the next day, I went to my friend's house and hung out. This was pre-cell phone. This was the late 80s.
Oh, no.
And they're calling me going, where are you? You're supposed to be here. Because I was embarrassed to ask. You told them, see you tomorrow. You told me, see you later. Do you need me tomorrow? I didn't want to embarrass anybody.
Yes.
I didn't show up. And he stopped working with me for a year because it's like, you didn't show up. What happened? I didn't think I was on the session. I misunderstood. Well, the guy who got the gig, Mike Body, ended up being able to buy a car. And he was in trouble financially. So he got the gig. I saved it by working with Jorge many times later, but and I learned something. Okay, politely dare to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
Because I had another situation on my first Luis Miguel record. I showed up for the second day, and everybody's looking weird. And I go to the contractor, am I supposed to be here today? Well, actually, you're not. And none of them wanted to tell me. I went, oh, I'm happy to leave. And I told him the other story. I did that before, so I just figured I was on tomorrow. But hey, I'll go, no problem. You learn these lessons from doing. That's where it comes from. But more crazy stories than I can even imagine.
But you know what? All this is these are the kind of wisdom. If that's, I don't even know if that's a word. I guess wisdoms could be a noun, but that are just invaluable, because I think a lot of artists in any phase of their journey struggle with that attitude of yes, and keep it fresh and be adventuresome. They get jaded, and doing this. I mean, I had to teach myself a bunch of stuff that I didn't know in order to do this show, which was fine because my brain needed some food to do. Right. But it also, because it's fun, and I can't tell you, I probably, I'm getting to spend time with you because I took the time to suffer through learning this stuff that I didn't really like learning, but it got me to spend with you. So
I get to spend time with you. So I'm the lucky one here, just saying. No, I did the same thing at the beginning of pandemic. I had been streaming single songs from my phone for about 3 years. I do a show, maybe every 5 or 6 shows. I do a house concert for 50 people, and I go, I'm here in Sterling, Virginia. There are 900 people in this living room. Everybody cheers. And I'd do a song, and it would get a few thousand views. Yeah. So when pandemic hit, I went on one day. Hi, everybody. Dan Navarro here in my living room. We've just been locked down. I don't know what's going to happen. This probably, from what I'm hearing, this will probably last a couple of weeks. A couple of weeks. So I'm going to sing a song. And then when it was done, I go, well, you know what? I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. And I did 20 minutes. And at the end of that, I went, well, you know what? I'll see you tomorrow. And I did an hour. The fourth day, I did 2 hours, and I did 14 straight days. Then I started doing 6 days a week for 5 months. 6 days a week of 2-hour shows. and I called it Songs from the Corona Zone. Hey, this is Songs from the Corona Zone, number 42. Today I'm going to do songs that other people wrote, or today I'm going to do I did every record in order. I started doing themed shows just as long as I showed up. Well, what happened is the crowds got bigger. All of a sudden, I'm seeing the same faces and the same names, so to speak. And they say, well, we're starting this thing called the Dan Fam. We're the Dan Fam.
Yes.
And the Dan Fam became a thing only because I had the audacity to just show up every single day. Yeah. And I learned how to stream. I actually learned about the differences between StreamYard and Restream. StreamYard's more popular, a little more expensive, equal capabilities, but you can unbrand on StreamYard cheaper than you can unbrand on Restream. You can go more places with Restream, but 85% of those places are like gamer sites in Korea and stuff that you don't need. Restream, they're competitors and they have their advantages and their disadvantages. Well, I learned all of that just like you did because I
didn't know about
it was well, I did the research. I was on Restream a little. StreamYard is just easier to deal with. Restream looks better. It's a black background instead of a white background.
Yeah.
But just the very fact that you can, you've got your branding up on this and that you can do that at a cheaper price point on StreamYard than on Restream. Yeah. They're comparable. Bottom line is I didn't know any of them existed. And so I'm doing deep dives going, and I found this blog by Ian Anderson Gray called Top Video Tips of 2020. It's still up there, iag.me, I think it is, but Ian Anderson Gray. And it's all of the platform, all of the software. This one's software-based, this one's hardware-based. This one uses phones, that one uses cameras, this one uses webcams. Here are the different resources, and I tried them all. And I tried them all.
That's awesome.
StreamYard is a clear winner, but the bottom line is I learned, and the reason to use StreamYard is if you're going to go to multiple sites at the same time, or record and have guests.
Yes.
And it's comfortable. It's an easier interface when you have guests than Zoom, which is designed for guests and designed to record. But Zoom is cumbersome. We can't make ourselves be side by side like I see us right now.
Yeah.
And then switch it and have only you and switch it and have only me and do all the various things. So all this is to say the things that you faced, we all did. Those friends of mine who go, it's just too hard. Or, I'm streaming. I go out once a month.
Yeah.
Wow, dude. No problem. But your people, that's like saying I have a restaurant. It's open one Tuesday a month. If you're going to feed the people, feed them every day. So I did 6 days a week for 5 months till I finally got so tired. I said, you guys, I got to back it up a little. Can we go to 3 days a week? And can we move it around? I'll do every Monday on Facebook, every Wednesday on YouTube, every Saturday on Twitch. And they would follow me. It'd be a different experience.
I love that. Yeah.
It worked. The bottom line is that people were starved for a place to hang, a way to connect.
Yeah.
I thought I wanted to be Bob Dylan. I turned into Jimmy Fallon on TV every night. Yeah. Where you would come for like that reliable, okay, we're locked in the house, we're making dinner, same faces. Let's turn Dan on, see what he's got to talk about today.
Yeah.
I started with roll call.
I love that.
And I'd see the chat go by and I'd say their names. Well, who's not going to tune in because Dan's going to say my name? Dan's going to sit there and go, it's Mehuman.
I love that.
How you doing, dear? What's going on? Hey, how's your next show going? And I would say, good to see you, even though I didn't see him. It created a community. It gave me a reason to get up in the morning. It did not give me a reason to put on pants. I didn't wear pants for 6 months. And then discovered because of the ice cream, they didn't fit when I put them on. What the hell happened here? Oh no, time to quit the Ben and Jerry's. We went through, and we're still going through a version of a very hard time with all of this. And some people lost their minds.
Yeah.
But I found a reason to keep going. I found a reason for others to keep going.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is I don't want to do this. tired every single day. I learned 3 new songs that were requested of me. I don't even like those songs. I don't even want to. Hi, everybody. And then within seconds, the cynical Dan is gone because I showed up. I had to do it, and I
hundreds of hours you did. Hundreds of hours, like more than almost 300 hours. Yeah.
Well, I did 250 shows of 2 hours plus. Wow. So I did.
Oh my word!
I did minimum 600 hours.
Wow.
Minimum.
And are any of those shows able to, could you like rerun them?
The Facebook ones are mostly on my Facebook page. They're stored in the video section, and they're numbered. Every single one is numbered. Awesome. So it's, Songs from the Coronas on number 112. I started at about the 60 mark. I'd say send in your 15 song set in order. One cover I don't know, 15 songs from my repertoire. You pick the order, you pick the songs. If you tell me you pick, no, I won't do it. You give me a list of 20 songs, I'll cut it off at 16 and do your list in order. And people were checking in because they liked the surprise of, wow, we never thought of the songs in this order. Oh, good choices, George. God, that's amazing. Oh my God, Deb picked all the heartbreak songs. Oh my God, David picked all the 12-string guitar songs. And it became a thing where everyone wanted to see what's the new Christmas gift? What new gift is going to be opened?
Yeah. And
it was a gift for me because I was doing songs in a sequence I never would do. I was doing songs I didn't do very often. There were no restrictions. If I've recorded it or you've heard me do it live, I'll do it. And if I don't know the song, I'd learn it. And I would. And so I'd sit there and learn brand new songs with lyric sheets, but it gave us something. Now, when I started touring again a year ago, that went away. And I have to figure that out. The Dan fam is intact. But they miss me and I miss them. I did start doing something. New Year's Eve 2020 turned out to not be on a stream day. It was on a Thursday. I streamed Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. So I said, tell you what we're going to do. Zoom party. You come in. Let me talk to you. I play 2 or 3 songs an hour. And we're going to start at 8:30 Eastern time, Pacific time. We're going to start 11:30 Eastern time and ring in the new year for 4 time zones. And my friends in Germany went, well, what about us? Well, I mean, that's 2:30 p.m. And they went, yeah. All right, so we went from 2:30 p.m. to 2 a.m.
Oh, my word.
And I did take a break for about 2 hours.
Oh, my
nap for 2 hours, talk amongst yourselves. I've done it 2 years in a row. I would ring in the new year in Germany, England, Holland, Argentina, take a little break, come back for New York, Chicago, Phoenix, LA.
Oh, my word.
But at the end of it, we're all weeping, kind of going, this has just been so amazing because, we would have just gone crazy without each other.
Yes.
And this is what we do, man.
Yeah.
So that's
just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I didn't set out to build community, but community got built. I set out.
It sure did. But there's so much, every single story that you've shared, and I know there's more, have all had the vein of inspiration. And that's why like I said earlier before we started, I need to interview like 50 more times. Well,
minimum. We'll do that.
You know what I mean?
I'm an old man. I don't run out of stories.
Well, I mean, but they're not just like stories. This is like experiences that have meaty wisdom for people to like glean and inspiration, which is just, it's invaluable. And I'm just honored for you to share it. And I'd love to go longer if you had the time, because I want to really have some more music from you. If you, what would you like to do?
I'm good. I've got a couple more songs here for you. The thing is funny is that what it underscores is, and I think we had this conversation when we met, life, if you look at it a particular way, is really ugly and bad and rotten. Death, decay, crime, dirt, theft, violence,
murder,
racism, sexism, ageism, destruction. Yet we all go, yeah, but life is too short, because there is beauty in it. So given a choice, I'm going to be aware of the ugly, but I'm going to pick beauty every time. I'm going to find a way to laugh. I'm going to find a way to support. I'm going to help people have better times. That's what my time and energy is for. It's not to feather my nest, so to speak. It's to, you know, the more that I do for the community, the better time I have.
Yeah.
In a way, it's just me being selfish. I want to have a good time. And if I'm sitting there going, grumble, grumble, grind, dirt, rotten, I don't have a good time. If I sit there and go, well, that's pretty funny there. I mean, you know, you put your shoes on backwards. That's pretty wild. Or just something. There's always something to find in music. Yeah. And the other,
I'm going to say self-fulfilling. I mean, that's not selfish, but you're self-fulfilling because you're fulfilling your own. You know what I mean? You're like, you know, birds have to fly, fish have to swim, and you're being fully you, which I think
it is being fully me. It makes me happy. Yeah. And I love seeing other people happy. I love connecting people who don't know each other. I love meeting new people. You know, I mean, what it really is, I love hard. And when I've hurt hard. Yeah. And I've tried to learn my lessons. I make better choices than I did when I was younger. But given the opportunity, I'm going to love. And I will take the lumps, but I will learn the lessons. I will tell the stories. And with any luck, I'll help somebody feel better. You know, that's the idea.
Beautiful. I can't think of a better intro for beautiful. You got. I'm thinking like you're talking about how many things that are inspired. Like I want to go write song. When I look at this, I'm going to have to write down so much because you've inspired so much music in my.
Well, we'll talk more. You know how to find me. You know, this song came from a place. It's a true story of a situation I found myself in with someone that I had been friends with for a long time, but that I loved, and I knew as time was going on, and this was, you know, more than 15 years into our friendship, that I was sinking deeper into this pool of love for this person, and I wasn't sure if it was reciprocated. And then it started to sort of emerge where the conversation could at least be had. And something happened one time that shocked both of us, and I wrote the story. It ended up on my last album that came out 3 years ago, and or really, frankly, 4 years ago. So it's gone. Some time has passed. I had a dream, I flew like a bird to the top of the mountain, and there you were, bathed in the shadows, alone in the dark, with a lock and chain around your bulletproof heart. Minute by minute, time after time, body to body, crossing over the line, wrapped in each other, a shower of sparks began to melt the ice away from your bulletproof heart. Somebody tell me please, are we really here? I open my eyes and you disappear. All the king's horses and all the king's men can't put the genie back in the bottle again. Now I try to remember, to try to forget the way it felt that night, but it ain't happened yet. One perfect kiss blew the shackles apart. They keep you locked inside your bulletproof heart. Won't some Somebody please tell me, please, what's happening here? The image is hazy, but the memory's so clear. And all the king's horses and all the king's men can't put the genie back in the bottle again. So where are the fault lines? How deep are the tides? And can I ever touch the fire I see in your eyes? We can fall together or we'll fall apart, but I cannot fall away from your bulletproof heart. Your bulletproof heart. It's too hard to imagine and too late to pretend that all the things we said and did won't happen again. So how do we finish? Where do we start? To break down the walls around your bulletproof heart. Your bulletproof heart.
Bulletproof Heart, Dan Navarro. Dan, that's gorgeous. And you know what? I want to make sure everybody knows how to find you. My dog is bugging me now. I want to make sure everyone knows how to find you. Can we go to your website and show everyone?
Sure. Everything's up on the website. I'm on all the services, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal. I actually subscribe to Tidal myself. I actually do the $20 subscription because it sends $2 of your subscription fee to the artist you stream the most. And so you can really support an artist directly that way. This is my website. It's phone friendly, it's pad friendly, it's, computer friendly. And basically my shows are listed there. My merchandise is up there, CDs and downloads. There'll be new stuff coming. I have a new record coming out on August 19th, a new album called Horizon Line that I got the mastered version of it today. So it's going off to manufacturing in the next 2 or 3 days when I finish the cover. It'll be up on the services. First single's going to get waterfalled in July. So here we go. And that's my van. I tour in that thing. I tour around in that baby. I got those magnetic signs that say Nomad Dan, live music delivered. And I bought it with 6,000 miles. It got 58,000 on it. I put 52,000 miles on it in the last 12 months. And I'm having a good time. I get to do this.
This is incredible.
Those are a couple of the album on your left is Shed My Skin, the album I put out in 2018. Bulletproof Heart is on that record in an incredible production by Steve Postell, who's one of my best friends, and he produced that album and did a rather scary-ass good job of it. The other one is a duo record with James Lee Stanley. That's 12 versions of complete deconstructed reinventions of Led Zeppelin songs done acoustically. Wow. So we call it All Wood and Lead. And that came out in the middle of 2021.
Wow.
New album will be out soon, and I got to start doing the pre-album teasers on it. This is a cruise I'm doing. I've been doing concert cruises with fans for over 20 years.
Wow.
And this is cruise number 20. That's going to be a river cruise down the Danube, which I'm really excited about. I've never been to any of those places. Budapest, Nuremberg, pre-cruise stop in Prague. And you were telling me, I'm looking forward to hearing more about your experience there, because it's just, I can't wait. And Beth Nielsen Chapman and Gretchen Peters are two of the most accomplished songwriters in the business today. Gretchen wrote Independence Day for Martina McBride. And
wow.
Oh my God, Let That Pony Run for Pam Tillis, The Secret of Life for Faith Hill. Literally an incredibly gifted and celebrated songwriter. Beth Nielsen Chapman wrote This Kiss for Faith Hill, and also a song called Sand and Water that Elton John stuck in his set to replace Candle in the Wind.
Oh my goodness.
The two of them are, I mean, I'm the ringer on this one, going like, I'm just hanging around with these kids so they can bring me along, even though I've done the cruises and they never have, but they're dear friends, which is going to make it fun. We'll have the entire ship, 165 people on the ship that are all there for us. There are probably 3 or 4 cabins left if you get wild hair that you want to come join us on a river cruise.
Yeah.
But, I find ways to connect and ways to be around people. It's worth it.
It's going to be fantastic, fantastic music and a fantastic place. You cannot go wrong with that. And remember, you got to like, follow, and share to stay in contact with Dan Navarro about all these wonderful things he's up to. And your website is beautiful, and it's just so rich with so many things. So everyone, like, follow, and share. You can find Dan and more information about what he's up to here. And as always, you are an absolute treasure, and I can't even
right back at you, Mehuman. Right back at you. That was instant. You and I clicked in seconds, and it's because it's how you roll. You're engaging. You're engaged. You're present. You listen. It was from the first conversation. It was like, yeah, I'm in. This person's awesome.
More than kismet, I call it a grace, because I'm just over the moon, and I'm a huge fan of yours, and you've been blessing me before I even knew you, because with the whole We Belong thing, and now that has there's too many things, and I'm just thankful. So Dan, could you do me a huge favor? I always say everything worthwhile starts and ends with a song. So I would love it if you want to share a cover song and then end us with one of your songs that way. And everyone, this is Wish I Wrote It. Tonight has been a special night. My friend Dan Navarro has been here and has just blessed me. You all share.
We talked about Wichita linemen, and I was just about to maybe do something different. And I think I want to do something different for a reason.
Totally.
Hear the reason, because this has been a wonderful experience. I feel like I have a new sister. I feel like I made a great friend. I feel like I've stepped into a safe zone for the heart. And I'll do Wichita Lineman another time. It's the best song ever written. Probably, and I've got stories about it. But I think you're going to understand why I'm doing this particular song. This is a Jackson Browne song off his first album that just really spoke to me. And it's how I feel about today. Papers lie there helplessly in a pile outside the door. I tried and tried, but I just can't remember what they're for. The world outside is tugging like a beggar at my sleeve. Well, that's much too old a story to believe. And it's taken its share of me, even though you take such good care of me. Now you said Morocco, you made me smile. I haven't seen Morocco for a long, long while. The dreams are rolling down across the places in my mind, giving me a taste of something fine. Well, the future hides, the past just slides, England lies between, floating in a silver mist, so cold and so clean. California's shaking like an angry child will, who is has asked for love, but is unanswered still. And you know that I'm looking back carefully, 'cause I know that there's still something there for me. Now you said Morocco, you made me smile. It hasn't been that easy for a long, long while. But looking back into your eyes, I saw them really shine, giving me a taste of something fine, something fine. See Morocco, I know you'll go in style. And I may not see Morocco for a little while, but while you're there, I was hoping you might keep it in your mind to save me just a taste of something fine, something fine.
Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Dan, you want to give us another one and we'll say goodnight?
Sure. I've just had a taste of something fine here. That's why I chose to do that.
It's so gorgeous.
What you're doing here is really, really special. So this is the kickoff track, the first track on the new record. And this song was... This is the one with that title you like, Mehuman. When the load is heavy and it's dragging me down, when I can't find my heading, too lost to be found. Yeah, she leads me out of the darkness and calms my troubled mind with the magic and innocent wonder alive in her eyes. She dreams in music, she dances in laughter, glides on the wings of a dove, skips through the rain to the sun that comes after, lights up my world with her love. Now I'm no trouble, and trouble's known me, my constant companion, until she set me free, with a peace and a grace beyond measure, and the kindest, most gentle of hands. she is the mystical treasure who makes me a better man. 'Cause she dreams in music, she dances in laughter, glides on the wings of a dove, skips through the rain to the sun that comes after, lights up my world with her love. Oh, she sees things that I cannot see. Oh, I don't know what it is that she sees in me. Skips through the rain to the sun that comes after, lights up my world. Oh, she dreams in music, she dances in laughter, rides on the wings of a dove, skips through the rain to the sun that comes after, lights up my world with her love.
Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Tonight was a special night. You guys, everything worthwhile starts and ends with a song. Dan, thank you so much for being on Wish I Wrote It tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for the whole right idea, because this whole thing is about the power of the song to encapsulate our feelings, to spread them from one place to the other. And you're doing a great thing here. Thank you so much for having me.
Anytime. 50. We only have 49 more interviews.
we got 49 more interviews. Exactly.
All right.
So the next one, we'll set the next one. The next one will be what's the worst song you ever wrote?
Oh, that's great. That's awesome.
Give you a little taste. Nose hair growing everywhere. At my age, it brings me rage. Nose hair. So we'll finish that one another time.
But you know that could be a hit song to somebody in some context, because
it really could. It's actually
it's hilarious.
I was setting up a song about how I got into an argument with my late partner over a song that I wrote that I didn't like, and he didn't write it. He goes, "That's a good song." "No, it's not." "Yes, it is." "No, it's not." And I said, well, he finally won and convinced me it was a good song. I'm going, where can I take this? I went,
yeah.
It's called Nose Hair. They laughed like crazy, and they go, okay, now I got to make up nose hair on the fly.
Yeah.
I was like, ear hair, please don't go in there. Poke your brain, bring you pain. Ear hair. No hair. And just silly stuff. Well, I don't have that problem, thank God, at my age. I still don't get it, but
I could never guess. Hey, you have a birthday coming up. So everyone, for Dan's birthday, donate to Golden West chapter of ALS, or you can donate to the SAG-AFTRA Foundation, or you could donate to both as a birthday present to Dan. How about that?
That would make me very happy to donate. Yeah. They're both causes I believe in. ALS is a disease that makes your motor neurons stop running your muscles. You still feel everything. You have complete sensation and complete mental capacity, but you can't move a voluntary muscle. So you can't walk, you can't reach, and eventually you can't breathe. And the SAG-AFTRA Foundation helps actors who are down on their luck. And there are a lot of them, who don't work as much as they could and have big expenses and are, having issues. And for every famous actor you know about, there are 100 that are not famous working stiffs, and there are 1,000 who don't really work much at all. But the SAG-AFTRA Foundation helps them. It's something I donate to, and also to the Golden West chapter of the ALS Association. ALS is also known as Lou Gehrig's disease, if you ever need to look it up. But thanks for contributing if you feel like you could. And above all, thank you for having me.
Anytime. Well, everyone, Wish I Wrote It tonight. Everything worthwhile starts and ends with the song. God bless and keep you. Good night.